It seems that you guys have been enjoying the electric skillet recipe, so I have 4 more for you today.
You're watching the Bare Pantry Show.
The first one is going to be Belizean Johnny cake, but I didn't show you how to make the Johnny cake in this video. I will put a link up in the cards for you guys to go see a video on Belizean Johnny cakes. I'm setting this at 300, and yes, I only have 1 Johnny cake in here on the rice cooker thing on the parchment paper. The remaining 7 Johnny cakes are going to go into the oven. I didn't even prick the top of them, guys. I'm in a rush. Joe didn't want me to fool around with his Johnny cakes today because he's hungry. I set it at 350 for 40 minutes. This is set at 300 for the same 40 minutes. 40 minutes later, this is how the Johnny cakes in the oven look. They always look white on the top. Let me go ahead and flip this one over to try to get the top brown. And to get the ones in the oven brown, I'm going to turn the broiler on. And after the fire comes on like this, I set the timer for 1 minute exactly. And then this is how the Johnny cakes will look. Nicely sun-kissed. If you go longer than 1 minute, they're going to burn. This needed 10 more minutes, so this went for a total of 50 minutes. All right. Now let's go ahead and cut it open to make sure that it's cooked because Joe doesn't believe that it's cooked. Who's there behind me? Jada. Yes, it's cooked, guys. The next recipe is Mexican rice, and I'm just going to put some diced onion with tomato sauce in the blender and blend. It also calls for tomatoes, but all I have are my cherry tomatoes for my salad, and I'm not going to waste those in this because we already have tomato sauce. So after blending everything, you're supposed to cook this on the stovetop for about 10 minutes or so. I'm not going to cook it because I just want to use the electric skillet. Notice the skillet's on the dinner table. It's on the marble top table because we ain't fooling with putting this on my counter again to break my counter. Stay for the end of the video because you're going to see the counter repair, okay, if you haven't seen my shorts yet. So we put some vegetable oil and we're toasting the rice. The rice was not washed first. It was dry because we want to toast. This is serrano peppers. They're getting ripe on me, so that's why some of them look orange and red. Why do they change the name of the peppers after they're not green anymore, guys? It's so confusing. So I'm just adding more water. The electric skillet is a 10-incher, I believe, so it's wide. So you're going to have to add more water to a wider pot when you're cooking rice because the rice, well, the water has to cover the rice at least to about 1 inch. Now I'm adding salt, 1 teaspoon, and 1 teaspoon of cumin. Don't add any black pepper. The cumin is going to give it a beautiful flavor. And I'm setting it here between 250 and 275. And what we did for this rice, we just kind of rode the controls up and down, up and down. When it seemed like it was cooking too fast and the rice was going to burn, we turned it down. Then we turned it down too low. The rice is not even cooking. It's not bubbling. So then we bumped it up again. But we bumped it up between 250 and 275 constantly until we felt like we got it right and the rice was cooking at a nice temp. So the liquid is all cooked out, but the rice is not done. As you can see, there's some white grains right here that are undone. These are going to break your filling, okay? Just cover it up and continue cooking. And if you add too little water, you can always go add more water. If you add too much water, you can't remove water. So here it is. This took a total of about 45 to 50 minutes. Joe is testing. Look at his plantains here on the counter. He's going to eat this with stewed chicken today, guys. The next recipe is going to be a chocolate cake. This is the first time I'm making this chocolate cake on camera. And it calls for butter and sugar. It did not say to cream it, but I believe you should cream butter and sugar if you're doing butter and not oil. So I've switched to my hand mixer and I'm creaming the butter and the sugar for a little bit. It's not a whole lot of ingredients, guys. I think it's like 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put the list of the ingredients for this one down below. Only 1 egg. You add the 1 egg. And then it calls for vanilla extract. I think I should start cooking with my vanilla powder and everything because that vanilla powder tastes good. 1 cup of flour and I'm whisking everything. It didn't even say how much of the cocoa powder. Some people write some weird recipes, so I'm just going to put a 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. I put the vanilla and I did put some leavening agents. I can't remember if it's baking powder or baking soda, but I'll list it down below, okay? Just go ahead and mix. Add some milk. And we're just doing this alternately. I think this batter is going to be thick. I'm trying to figure what pan to put it in because I have a 7x3 pan that I think it will fit perfect in. But that pan is too tall to put in the electric skillet. And by the way, I'm not going to set this right on the bottom of the electric skillet. I don't want the thing to burn, so I'm going to set it on one of the trays from my toaster oven. So it seems like you need a lot of tools to cook in this electric skillet so the things won't burn. The recipe that I saw didn't put it in a pan. And I greased the pan and I put some cocoa powder to flour it. Then I put some parchment. They didn't put it in a pan. They put it straight into the skillet. But the cake got flat, flat, flat like a pancake. And when they lift it out, guys, the bottom looked burnt. I'm like, I think this is going to dome over because I really feel that the pan's a little bit too small. I don't think it's going to boil over, but dome over. I'm going to set it at 275. Set it on that tray that I told you guys about. Put this here. Cover it up and walk away. And it went, guys, it firmed up pretty quickly around the edges, but the middle took a long time. And then, truth be told, the machine shut off. The electric skillet shut off. I think I was doing too many things back to back. The next thing I know, Joe yelled, "Your pot is cold." Your pot went off. So I ran over there, touched it. The electric skillet was cold. I turned it back on. It still wasn't heating up. The cake was almost done, like right dead center, right from top to bottom, was still like batter, right? So I unplugged it, plugged it back in. That's how we fix everything over here, you know. You turn it off and turn it back on again, or unplug it and plug it back in again. And then it started to heat up. And I finished off the cake, and I was so grateful. It took like an, hour and a half, 90 minutes or so to do the cake. The next thing we're gonna do is powder bun for my powder bun dry mix. Pick up your powder bun dry mix, and remember, I already have everything in here. All you have to do is add butter, egg, and milk, and you don't even have to add the egg if you're allergic or if you don't like egg, all right? Remember, if you're not gonna put the egg, you're gonna put a little bit more milk. And if you don't wanna form them into the circles, you can make them into bars. You can customize them even more by adding raisin or dried cranberries or milk chocolate chips or white chocolate chips, or both of them together, or nuts, whatever you want to add, all right? Pick up your dry mix today, guys. You know I gotta push that dry mix every episode, right? So 4 powder buns from the dry mix. They have chocolate chips in them. Stick them on the rice thing with the parchment, and they went for 50 minutes like nothing. They're beautiful. Let's take a look. This is the rice. And then we did the powder buns. Well, we did the powder buns third, but I'm showing you this next. Look how fat they got. And I think it's because they were steamed. You know, and that thing, they got steamed, right? But they're beautiful. Look, I'm getting frosting on my sleeves. Showing you the powder bun again, guys. Yes, they came out so good. You guys noticed that I've been ending my videos abruptly without any warning? Well, there's a reason for that. YouTube told me to start doing that. But if you stay to the end after I play my ending segment, I usually have a little bit of gush for you at the end. Now let's take a look at the video. I have this out there as a shorts. This is when Joe fixed the counter. He cleaned it with hydrogen peroxide and then alcohol, and then blow dried it to dry it. Put some tape down to not spill the glue off to the next part of the counter, and then he just put the crazy glue in the crack. Remember, it was a hairline fissure. It wasn't a huge crack. 36 hours later, he's scraping it off, and you don't do it at an angle. You go right above. See, this was originally how it was. This is how it is now. Take a look at this little piece here. It was like that last night. No, this morning, look at it. Joe tried to tell me he didn't do nothing. Who he think he fooling?
This is the Bare Pantry Show.
Joy Jordan Granada. Continuing to learn about the land that we inhabit, the people who have been displaced from this land, and building community with its original caretakers.
It's not a lot. Look.